Hello, and thank you for joining me for another episode of You Would Think. Today we are going to be talking about Patrick Clancy's cross-examination. And full disclosure, I am not an attorney. I do not have a law degree. This is a trial channel where we discuss trials, engage in them, and I get to get your perspective on them and just have a general discussion, mainly based on opinion. I do have my degree in forensics and crime scene technology. So true crime cases and trials have just always kind of been a hobby of mine. So I thought, why not make a YouTube channel so that I can discuss and talk about them with you. So put all your comments down in the comment section so I may address them. And please remember to like and subscribe, and let's get to it. All right, so today we are going to be discussing Patrick Clancy's cross-examination on day 2 of Lindsay Clancy's trial. Earlier, he finished his direct testimony with the prosecution, and then they showed a few exhibits like the children's clothing and the exercise bands, and they played the 911 call, which, if you remember, due to a standing order before the trial began, the judge ruled that the 911 call would not be broadcast to the media, and so it was not. But, one thing I did notice about that was, Lindsay Clancy kind of turned her head away and never looked at the children's clothing or the exercise bands, and was holding her attorney's hand through the 911 call, and then began to seemingly sob towards the end of it. And you really can't help but feel, I don't know, it's still too early to say, whether she's, did this on purpose or not. But I felt a genuine just remorse, if anything else, from her at that moment. Then they put on the CVS manager who talked about Lindsay's phone call to ask if they had the MiraLAX, that the pediatrician, had suggested for Cora's stomach problems that morning. And she, said she didn't hear or see anything abnormal from Lindsay. Then they put on a employee from the CV restaurant where Patrick went to get the takeout. And that person also, because Lindsay called the order in. So she also said that she did not, hear anything abnormal when Lindsay made that call. Then they brought Patrick back, and it was time for his cross-examination. And the first thing that they do is establish that she was an avid note taker, and she would make notes about everything, her medications, the children's schedules, just everything. She took notes in numerous different capacities. And then he showed an exhibit of one such note. We can take a look at that.
Is it your understanding, would she take notes or lists and
Yeah.
for work and home and things of that nature?
You would, yeah.
Excuse me. I'm going to approach you, sir, with this document and just ask if you can recognize the handwriting.
Yeah, that looks like her handwriting.
Looks like Lindsay's handwriting?
Yep.
And then, they established, that she was a good mother, a doting mother. She did everything that, you know, a mother, you know, you would think that a good mother would do. And they showed some pictures of the children's playroom and the artwork and stickers on the refrigerator and things like that, how the house was kind of decorated, you know, with just things from the children. And they showed a few pictures of that. We can look at that for just a moment.
Tell the jurors, as a husband living with Lindsay over the years, what kind of a mother was she?
She was very dedicated. She did everything. She started reading them books at 3 months. And she made up songs for them. I remember she used to make green eggs and ham for Cora because she liked that book.
Is that one of the Dr. Seuss books?
Yeah. She brought them to music classes.
You're quite the musician yourself, isn't that right?
I play a few instruments, yeah.
You play guitar?
Yep.
In your home, one of the things that appears to be striking is that almost every room, other than maybe a bed, well, actually a bedroom, but was dedicated to children. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Like you didn't have a fancy dining room, right?
We did not, no.
What did you have in the dining room?
We had the table that I grew up with.
How about stuff on the wall in the different rooms? Did she put things, wall hangings on the walls for the kids?
There was a lot of art projects, stickers, things like that.
Yeah, were they hanging from the wall?
Yeah.
One of the photographs that the government had was photograph that, excuse me, if you can identify for us, is this photograph a fair and accurate depiction of one of your rooms?
Yeah.
And what room would that be?
That's the playroom.
Right off of this room?
Any objection?
No.
All right, that may be admitted.
Exhibit 58.
Thank you.
If I may put Exhibit 58 up so the jurors and his owner can see it. There's some kind of like, looks as though it's boxed out window. So are we standing in the kitchen looking into that room through that boxed out window?
Yeah.
And all those objects, obviously, that are in that room would be kids' toys and things of that nature, right?
Right.
Do you recognize this photograph as being just a sample or sampling of the kids' rooms?
Yeah.
You know which room that was?
I think it was Dawson's.
Okay, put off of this.
Any objection?
No.
All right, that may be admitted.
Exhibit 59.
All right, thank you.
This one here has a bunch of stickers. It's got Bruce Lightyear or whatever his name is over to the right, and it's got an alphabet, A, B, C, D, things of that nature, correct?
It's Paw Patrol.
Okay. And again, following through on that same theme, you recognize this photograph as well being another portion of that wall?
Yeah.
And what are those, decals?
Yeah, they're just big stickers.
Okay. In the interest of time, Your Honor, I would just say, you also identify this as being one of the kids' walls. Would that be what you were telling us would be art projects?
Yeah.
And they were hanging on the wall?
Correct.
And who hung them on the wall?
I think Lindsay did.
And would she also take hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pictures of the kids?
Yeah.
Do you recall her putting together a little collage saying newborn, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, and then hanging that on the wall?
Yeah, she did it for each kid.
And which child was that?
That one's Dawson.
Dawson.
Then there came a moment I thought was just a little funny. The defense was was moving to admit an email from Patrick, and when he asked the judge if it could be admitted, and the judge asked if there were any objections, the prosecutor objected and said she just wanted to know the purpose of the email. And immediately Kevin Reddington, the defense attorney, responds with, "Purpose? I'll give you a purpose." And right then the judge, interrupted and asked them to come up for a sidebar. The reason I thought that was a little funny was because during Patrick's direct testimony from the prosecution, a large amount of that evidence that was extracted from him was irrelevant. The defense is stipulating that Lindsay committed the crime. Lindsay herself is stipulating she committed the crime. Who committed the crime is not in question. What's in question is her mental state at the time of the crime. And so far, the prosecution has not put on very much evidence at all. Most of it seemingly is been emotion-based to try to maybe get a reaction from the jury. I'm not really sure, but I don't like how they're doing that. But, we'll see how things progress. So that was something I thought was a little interesting watching unfold. Then they get into the first time that she starts seeing her doctor, Jennifer Tuff, in September of 2022. And at that point is when Patrick notes a sharp mental decline. And, after that, Lindsay was referred by Patrick's mother to see another nurse practitioner that his mother knows. And this was Dr. Julie Paul. She was a nurse practitioner. Lindsay went and saw her a couple of times. But then Nurse Paul left her practice, and that's when Dr. Gelato enters the frame. Dr. Gelato is also a nurse practitioner, working out of the same practice as Nurse Paul. So naturally, when Nurse Paul leaves, Lindsay is kind of given over to Dr. Gelato. So the way that the prosecution framed it in their opening was that Lindsay was doctor shopping, and she wasn't doctor shopping. She was literally referred to another nurse practitioner in the same practice because the first one had left. So, that's kind of how that worked out. Then they reiterate that Dr. Gelato was the one that began to give her Seroquel in December of 2022. At one point, I believe around December 6th of 2022, Patrick insisted on meeting with Dr. Gelato and Lindsay in a face-to-face meeting, because up till then, all their meetings have been on Zoom for like the 15-20 minutes, which, say what you will, but he didn't feel were accurate. So he wanted a face-to-face. So they had the face-to-face. Lindsay told Dr. Gelato all of the issues that had gotten so much worse after she started taking the Seroquel. And what does Dr. Gelato do? She ups the Seroquel to 400 milligrams. Somebody please make that make sense. So, after a few other questions, kind of establishing that, his wife was not a drug addict. She was taking the things she was prescribed as she was prescribed them. And from Patrick's perspective, he just really didn't think that doctors were communicating with each other. And, that is a large problem. That is a big problem. And something that surprised me as well was he said that after she had that 5-day stay at McLean Hospital, that in January of 2023, that when she was discharged, you know, when you're discharged from the hospital, you know, they give you this notebook. It's got all discharge instructions, maybe some pamphlets on the information of why you were there, maybe some referrals. Well, apparently when she left McLean, she wasn't given anything, nothing. And the doctor that she had seen had wanted to put her on a medication called Cymbalta. And when Lindsay asked for some information about Cymbalta, Patrick said that the doctor told her to Google it. All right. Okay. Well, that's not helpful. We can take a quick look at that video to kind of see how that unfolded.
A couple of points that I wanted to raise, sir, with you. You have an email sent from your, is it Surface Pro? Is that what it's called?
That was my laptop. Yeah.
I'm going to approach you, sir, and ask if you can identify this as being an email that you sent.
Yeah.
Okay. Right off of that, Your Honor.
The objection.
I'd just like to know the purpose of.
Purpose? I'll
Yes.
tell you the purpose.
No,
We could approach sidebar.
sure, yeah.
And then in that summer of 22, you had one of the best summers that you've had, right?
Yeah.
What happened in September, October of 2022?
Lindsay's mental health started to deteriorate.
And when you say that, sir, what is it that you, as her husband, observed?
Just increased stress and anxiety.
And did she, as a result of that, go to see or reach out for help to see someone?
Yes.
And who was that?
I believe it was Jennifer Tufts.
Now, Jennifer Tufts is a psychiatrist.
Yeah.
Do you recall that the difficulties or the trouble, so to speak, began towards the end of September into October of 22?
Yeah, it was pretty gradual.
But were these like in-person meetings, or are they like, what do you call them, Zoom meetings? And
Most of the meetings were Zoom. The only in-person that I'm aware of was with Rebecca Gelada.
Rebecca Gelada. Okay, and that was because you insisted on it, right?
I thought it was warranted at that time, yeah.
Right, because you were pretty much at your wit's end with the 15-minute Zooms, and you wanted to sit down eyeball to eyeball and talk to this person, right?
I hadn't attended any prior to that. I just wanted to get clarification. I wanted to see if we could get on the same page.
All right. The reason, if you know, that she got reassigned somewhere would be nurse practitioner Gelada, right?
Right.
Same practice, right?
Right.
And the reason was because Paul moved on to another job, right?
Right.
So Lindsay wasn't out doctor hunting. She was referred by the nurse practitioner that was referred to you guys by your mom because Paul was leaving, right?
Yeah, she just switched doctors in the same practice.
All right. Now she sees Dr. Gelada, right?
Right.
Did Dr. Gelada, to your knowledge, put her on medication?
Yeah.
And what was the medication, if you know?
Mainly Seroquel and benzodiazepines, Ativan.
No, benzodiazepines, they're addictive, right?
Apparently.
Objection.
I'll allow it.
And a benzo would be, for example, Ativan, correct?
Correct.
Now, Seroquel, she was placed on Seroquel as well, is that correct?
Right.
And to your observation, again, you're not a doctor, what you saw of your wife, was she affected positively or negatively by the Seroquel that she was on?
It appeared that she was affected very negatively, and she was reporting that that she was getting worse on the Seroquel.
And do you know, did she report that to Dr. Gelada?
Yeah.
When she would consult with Dr. Gelada, prior to you actually going, do you know, were they all on video? If you know.
I believe, yeah, they were all on Zoom.
Okay. Do you have any opinion for the jury as to approximately how long these meetings on Zoom would be with the nurse practitioner?
Probably around 20 minutes.
At some point, do you recall that you went with Lindsay to see Dr. Gelada? Is that right?
Yes.
And do you remember, if you remember, when that was?
Early December.
In early December of 2022, can you tell the jury from your observations, how did Lindsay appear? How was she acting? How was she faring?
She was extremely sleep deprived and just highly anxious.
Was there a number of occasions that you would actually see her on the sofa, rocking back and forth with her head under a pillow?
Yeah.
Did you report that and other symptoms to Dr. Gelada?
Lindsay did.
So when was it, if you recall, that you went and saw Dr. Gelada with your wife, person to person?
When was it?
Yep.
Early December. I think it was December 6th.
And do you remember, you have a pretty good memory about this, do you remember what medication she was prescribed by Gelada?
Coming out of that meeting.
Yep.
Yeah, she increased the Seroquel significantly, and then she prescribed her Valium to help taper off of the benzos.
Taper off the benzos?
Yeah.
To your knowledge, did Lindsay go to doctors to seek out benzodiazepines or drugs just because she was a drug addict?
No. Lindsay, I think, wanted to. She definitely didn't want to take any more benzodiazepines, and definitely didn't want to take any more Seroquel. I think that it wasn't really a matter of trying to get off the medication; it was just trying to get on the right medication.
Okay. Let's say mid-December. What observations, if any, heading up towards Christmas, did you guys endure?
She seemed to get worse. The Seroquel was increased to 400 milligrams. 400? Yeah. And,
by Dr. Gelada?
Yeah. And the idea behind that was it would help with sleep, but she didn't get better. She got worse.
Objection.
Sustained.
Do you recall whether or not the people at Women and Infants in Rhode Island reached out to Dr. Gelada?
Objection.
I don't think so.
If he knows.
I don't think they did, no. It's the dosage of medication that she took and how she's feeling.
So this is kind of like a little medical diary that she was keeping?
Yeah.
For example, here you see on that 5 milligrams Valium, 200 Seroquel, slept well, horrible thoughts in the morning, right?
Yeah.
And then the defense attorney mentioned that when he went to meet Patrick at his home, after the police had already gone through and collected what they thought was evidence, in Lindsay's bedside table, there was a drawer, and in that container, in that drawer, there were multiple pill bottles, an Apple Watch, and some pillow spray. Apparently you spray it on your pillow and it helps you sleep. And according to Patrick, he had used that, or Lindsay used that pretty much almost every night. Why these things were not collected? You be the judge.
When I met with you in the house, long after the state police had gone and finished their search,
Yep.
You recall that we went up to the bedroom and I removed this from the nightstand right next to the bed.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what that is? What is this? Is it a drawer, obviously?
That's the drawer that goes into the nightstand.
And inside the drawer, sir, do you recall that there were a number of items that, I see, trazodone, Lindsay Clancy, prescribed on January 5, 23. Creatinine, January. Creatinine, 100 milligrams, prescribed for Lindsay Clancy, December 21st. Lorazepam, they're all empty too, right?
Yeah.
Because these are what she shot down with that lemonade or water or whatever was in the cup that she ground up these pills, right? Lamotrigine, prescribed to Lindsay Clancy, December 16th of 22. Mirtazapine, prescribed to Lindsay Clancy, January 23. Those are in this drawer, and they were all empty, right?
Right.
You observed that, right? There's something else that was in the drawer. Do you recognize that?
Yeah.
What is it?
It's her Apple Watch.
Her Apple Watch. This is the Apple Watch that apparently the police used to go up the stairs, downstairs, heart rate, things of that nature, right?
Yep.
They never even seized it, did they? They left it in the drawer, right?
Apparently.
So, what is this item, sir? If you can identify that for us.
It's a face mask for sleeping.
To sleep?
Yeah.
Now, you had mentioned something, I think, about pillow spray. What is that?
She bought some pillow spray. It apparently helps you sleep.
And did you see her using that on a regular basis?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah, she did.
And lastly, the defense asked Patrick a few questions about Lindsay's note-taking, specifically noting how she wrote down Callum's schedule, when his feeding was, when his nap was, things like that, and asked Patrick, was this viewed by you as controlling, like the prosecution's trying to make it seem like she was? And he said no, that it was actually helpful. So that was the majority of the cross-examination. Then court ended for the day. So I just want to thank you again very much for joining me for another episode of You Would Think. Again, please put your comments in the comment section, and we will reconvene for day 3. Please like and subscribe, and thank you so much. Have a good night.